everyone!
Hello!
And welcome to Kirsty and Bryony's Comfort Zone.
I am Kirsty.
And I am Bryony.
Oh my god. And we're gonna listen to some dreams and figure out what the heck is going on.
What the heck?
What the heck? What the heck? We've had a whole extra week to dream.
We did. And did we?
No, we didn't.
A little bit. Maybe-ish. I've been getting really good sleep recently. Like, just being absolutely out for the count. Really deep sleep. But it's sort of been so good that
there's no dreams.
Gotten to dream. Yeah. Like, I've had dreams, but then I wake up and I'm like, ready to start the day. And the dreams just like fizzle away. Like candy floss being washed by a raccoon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I have been able to like remember
a little bit.
Yeah. Bits and bobs. So I will be retelling dreams like the bards of old. And,
amazing.
You've got a proper recording. You're professional this week.
I have got a recording. I can't remember what happened in it, but I've got one.
Oh.
I've bloody got one. But,
it was from Tuesday, so it's 2 days ago.
It's a 2-day-old dream. It's vintage.
Oh, nicely fermented.
Like a fine wine.
Or kimchi.
I bought some more Napa cabbage to make another batch of kimchi.
Is it like a specific cabbage?
Yeah. You use Napa cabbage for it generally, Napa. And in Tesco, they finally started selling it. Because the first time I made kimchi, they didn't. So I used bok choy instead. Because I was like, this is close enough.
Yeah.
But they have it now. But it's sold as Chinese leaf. And I was like, this looks suspiciously like Napa cabbage. And I Googled it. And yeah, it is. It's the same thing. Yeah. But when I was in Tesco buying more of it, I was like, did I use 2 Napa cabbage or 4 Napa cabbage to fill my jar? Because I have a big 2-litre jar that I made the kimchi in. And I was
sounds like
2 doesn't seem like enough. I'll buy 4. And as soon as I got to the checkout, I was like, no, it was definitely 2. So now I have too much cabbage.
Oh my gosh. But it's fine because you're fermenting it, so surely it lasts for ages, right?
It does, but I don't have a jar that's big enough, so I'm going to have to just get the Tupperware out and have kimchi everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
But I haven't started yet. I'll probably do it on Monday.
Kimchi and everything.
Every orifice. Everywhere. All over the bloody place. I've nearly finished the first batch that I made even.
Nice.
I've nearly eaten it all. I put some in pots to give away to like my family and stuff, but I haven't seen them since I made it, so I've just been eating it.
They're like, she's making the kimchi again. Avoid. Don't pick up the phone.
Don't go. No, I'm so happy with how it came out though. I'm so freaking proud because it tastes just like actual proper kimchi.
Oh.
I'm so impressed because as well as that, usually you put in the recipe I followed. It was like from I think it's a lady on like TikTok. She's called, the account's like My Korean Mum or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's this lovely Korean lady, and she always goes out for food, and she loves ketchup. And she posted her kimchi recipe, and I followed that. But usually you put like fish sauce and shrimp in kimchi. Sometimes shrimp, like dried shrimp. And I didn't want to do that because I don't want it to be fishy. So I did it without. So mine's like just vegan kimchi, pretty much. And it tastes absolutely perfect. It just tastes like kimchi. And I'm so happy that it came out right.
It's always so nice when you can make something that you would happily buy.
Yeah, literally. And it's honestly better than some of the kimchi that I've bought as well, which is so good. Like, there's one brand in Tesco, and it's usually the only one they have there. And it's really, really watery. And it's too sweet. Like, they put in too much sugar. So this time I'm like, oh yeah, mine's better. I'm the king of kimchi.
Imagine if this was like your new like endeavor, like Kirsty's Kimchi, and you could sell it in the shops, and it would have you on the logo, and it could be Gamer Girl Kimchi, and you could sell little jars of it on the internet. And
I'm selling my Gamer Girl Kimchi. Everyone, line up. Oh, so good. But no, I'm so proud of how it came out, and I've just been eating nothing but kimchi.
I'm proud of you. I don't like kimchi, but I'm proud of you. And I would try your kimchi.
I don't think
to
you'd enjoy it.
you.
It's quite warm. It's very spicy.
I just don't really like that fermented taste. Like, I don't like pickles, and I don't like sauerkraut, and I don't like kimchi. Like, that sort of genre of flavors.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just like, ugh.
Yeah,
doesn't do it for
actually tried sauerkraut the other day, like for the first time, because it was next to the kimchi in Tesco, and it's so much cheaper. So I was just like, "What is this? What does it actually taste like?" So I got it, and it's all right. It's all right. It's I can imagine having it on like a hot dog or something.
Yeah,
I quite like it. I love like
like
fermented foods and pickled foods.
Would you be one of the few people who likes, what is it, like lutefisk or whatever, like the fermented fish thing that's meant to be a delicacy?
Absolutely not.
Lutefisk. I can't remember the actual name of it. It's something like that.
Not from, where is it from? Not the
is
Swedish
it Icelandic?
one. Oh, it's
the
Icelandic one.
I can't remember.
I think the Swedish
one of
fermented
them.
fish
Same
has a different
thing,
name,
isn't
right?
it, Rivian?
Yeah, same thing. Iceland fermented fish. What is it called? Hakal? Oh, no, that's shark. Okay.
Oh.
I would try fermented shark, but ideally not, because it's probably not very sustainable, honestly. I've seen, there's a video on the Food Insider where they went to see it being made in Iceland, and it looked very interesting. Food Insider is my watching time. When I have dinner, I pop up Food Insider and I watch food being made. Swedish fermented fish has a different name.
Oh, it says lutefisk is prepared as seafood dish of several Nordic countries, traditionally part of Christmas feast in Norway and Sweden. ... The Wikipedia
I'm thinking of surströmming.
Oh, yes.
The very stinky one. Herring.
Stinky.
I would not like that. Fish is... I'm not keen on it. I don't mind cod. I don't mind a bit of salmon, but beyond that, not really. Not a big fish person.
I say, yeah, I'm
literally a vegan.
So none of it's for me. I eat their food.
But yeah,
bit of seaweed. Oh,
fermented veg. That's good shit. Love it.
But then you're like a pickle frickle queen, aren't you?
I'm a pickle fiend. I love frickles.
Pick out my pickles when I get a burgie.
See,
I never think to ask for it without.
If we ever ate them together, I could eat them.
You could eat my pickle. You could eat my pickle. What, darling?
You're gonna have a bit of my pickle, love.
Here's my pickle. I was thinking earlier when you were talking about the Napa cabbages. You know when people count and they count Mississippi and they're like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. You reminded me of that with your 2 Napa cabbage, 4 Napa cabbage.
4 Napa cabbage.
How many Napa cabbages is this?
How many cabbage? It's because, right, I just had a big brain fart when I bought the bloody cabbage, because when you have it and make kimchi, you quarter it. So I was like, well, I put in at least 8 pieces into the jar. So I must have had 4 cabbages and I must have had even more than 4, because I put them in there, I put 8 in there. And then I was like, no, I quartered them. Of course I had 8, because I bought 2 cabbages.
It's turning into a
dummy.
GCSE math problem.
It is. If you have 2 Napa cabbage and you quarter them to make kimchi, how many do you put in the jar?
What time does the Napa cabbage get to the station?
I was thinking of making a little video when I make the next batch, but that would require.
You should do.
I would have to clean my kitchen.
No, make it filthy.
Make it in the filth.
Double down, make it in the loo.
What, everyone, I'm here to make kimchi. Ignore all the empty bowls and the coffee cups.
Oh, no, that'd be really lovely. You should let me come around and film it, and I'll edit it together for you. And
oh my god, that would
start
be cute.
a cooking channel.
I would do a stream, but the problem is you brine the cabbage and then you leave it for 4 hours, so it wouldn't be a very interesting stream.
Yeah, I've had that with things that I've wanted to cook before, and I'm like, oh, should I do this as a stream or should I just do it as a video or whatever, and then I'm like, leave in the fridge for 40 minutes. I'm like, well,
oh dear.
maybe I'll wait.
I think my favourite cooking stream that I've done was, it must have been around Christmas. I made gingerbread men, and then I got chat to submit designs, and I decorated all of them with all of chat's designs.
Oh my god.
It was really fun.
We should do that for Jingle Jam this year. We should imagine if we had like, you know, when like Future Donuts used to have a donut competition where kids would get to design the next donuts, but it would be like that, but it's chat, which is essentially children, and they could design. They could design the gingerbread men, and we try to make them.
We'll make our favourites. Oh my god, that's
I think
cute.
my favourite cooking stream was my hedgehog cake one, because it was literally, it was a bit like the James A. Caster, like started baking, had a breakdown, bon appetit. And I loved seeing everyone else's hedgehog cakes.
Yeah, that was so good. That was so much fun.
If ever anyone listening is a bit sad, just image search hedgehog cake, and oh my gosh, it's a wild ride. I love them all. They're all just babies. They're just little guys.
Just so guys. I used to do that with whale sharks.
Ah.
I would just Google whale sharks, and one time I laughed so hard at their silly little faces that I just started crying with laughter.
I just love, they're just like, hey,
hello.
How's it going?
Where's the krill?
Well. Oh. So, dreams.
I've had a dream. You've had a dream. We've all
Well,
had
I
a dream.
sort of had two dreams, but one of them... Okay, so one of them I didn't record because I woke up and I was like, that's disgusting. And then I was like, I told... So it's about Rythian. Rythian already knows about it. You already know about
Rythian, disgusting.
Disgusting
Classic
Rythian. No, it was me that was disgusting. And so I had this dream and I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. But I also have this like weird need to tell Rythian about it. So I was sort of talking to him and I was saying like, I had a dream about you. It was a bit icky though. And he didn't take the bait. He didn't ask what the dream was. So I was there just like, yep, it was icky. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, are you too... And I just told him. I was like, well, if you're not going to ask, I'm going to tell you anyway. So basically, the dream started off that I was in a supermarket with Rythian. And this was just before... So Alex's mum is staying with us at the moment. But this was just before she came to stay. And I was planning IRL what I was going to buy because she has like certain dietary requirements. So I was like, okay, the morning of the day that she comes to stay, I'll buy this. So in the dream, I'm in the supermarket and I'm just buying this random stuff for me. I get to the checkout. Rythian's already bought his things and I'm on like the self-service till, and I look down and I'm suddenly like, oh my gosh, I was meant to be here to buy all this stuff and I've bought none of it. So I was like, I'm really sorry, Rythian. I'm just going to have to go back into the shop and actually buy the things I came to buy. So I went to hug him goodbye and I gave him this like big hug. And in the dream, I was like a little bit sniffly from hay fever. I wasn't like ill or anything. Right. But as I pull away from the hug, I look at his shirt and I've left like a snot mark. And I was oh my gosh. And I was like, he's not noticed. I'm going to try and get rid of this. So I just sort of gave him like a little like, see you later, like nudge on his chest. And I was like, it just smeared. It made it so much worse. And then I was like, come back here, you. And I gave him another hug. And like the more I tried to clear it up, the worse it was just getting, to the point where I was just like rubbing snot all over Rythian's chest. Just like, it just smearing everywhere, making it 10 times worse. And then eventually Rythian looks down and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm so sorry. I just snotted all over you. And he found it really funny. He was very Rythian about it. He was just sort of like, it's okay. But yeah, then I woke up and I woke up thinking like, this feels like it has to have significance.
That's so cute.
This can't just be a weird snot dream. This has to, it's not me. It's the deep psychological meaning. I'm not weird.
It's
So
not
that's why
weird.
I've decided, after not recording it and telling Rithian about it anyway, that I would bring it to you.
Did you look in your book at all about snotty
Snot.
dreams?
No, I'm guessing Snot doesn't have its own page, but there's probably like fluid or discharge or something.
Ooh. Yeah, like bodily fluid.
Bodily fluids.
I also had a dream about Rithian in the week.
Oh, what did you get on him?
Nothing, actually. We were just sitting there chilling.
Oh.
And he was texting someone. And he was kind of angling his phone so I could see too. And I think it was supposed to be a sister. Like, he had a sister and he was texting them. And he was just, like, talking as if, like, however you would to a sibling. Just like, what? How's it going?
Yeah.
But I think in the dream, his sister was Sarah.
Oh.
So, Sarah Yogskost. Sarah, lovely Yogskost. Sarah Yogtop. Sarah.
To give her her full title.
To give her her full title. For those who do not know, Sarah of the TikTok. Sarah. And yeah, that was kind of it. Like, nothing actually happened. We were just sitting there and it was just really nice. Just hanging out. Hanging out with Rithian. Nice.
I've looked up body. There was nothing for Snot. And there's like all the other things. There's like urine and everything else, but there's nothing snotty.
Oh, that's weird.
There's nose.
What about sneeze? Like, yeah, I know you didn't sneeze, but you had hay fever, right? So
Yeah.
could sneeze.
Well,
be
just
in
for
there?
nose, it says the nose in dreams can stand for curiosity and also intuition. So I guess it's like follow your nose, isn't it?
Follow your nose right into Rithian's chest.
I can tell you what I think. There's nothing for sneeze either. It goes straight from snake to snow.
Huh. Shall I have a Google? Dreaming about snot. 10 snot dream interpretation from dreamchrist.com.
10 of them.
10 of them.
Wow.
Okay. Dreaming about snot doesn't seem like a fun thing.
It's super fun.
Okay. Dreaming about a runny nose. Dreaming about big booger.
Oh, wow.
A lot of snot. Okay, let's go to dream a lot of snot. A dream with a lot of snot is a bad sign, but it will depend on the conditions in which you were at the time. If you are sick, it indicates that you have a situation that you cannot resolve that can develop into a big problem. If you dream of seeing a lot of snot, you must immediately solve the challenges that come, and you should not delay this situation or leave it to someone else because you are the only person responsible.
Oh, geez. So I can't even leave Rithian to clean himself up. I have to do it.
No, you can't.
So
Dreams of a runny nose warn about the insecurities you have when making important decisions. There you go.
see, that sort of feeds into what I thought it was about. So what my interpretation of it is that I think recently I have had a lot of like anxiety and insecurity, and I tend to take it to you and Rithian.
Yeah.
Like, if ever we've done a stream together and then afterwards I start doing the thing of being like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry if I was boring. I'm sorry if I was annoying. I'm sorry. And then when I'm doing that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so annoying and boring of me. Why am I doing this to them?
Just
and
smearing the snot.
I think that's what it is. I think I feel like the snot is my problems and I rub them on you guys.
Aww.
And I think the more I try and clean it up when I feel like, oh no, I shouldn't do this, the worse I make it, because then I start thinking like, oh geez, just stop. They're going to think you're really weird and negative and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just there before I know it, just rubbing Rithian. With
That
snot.
is how it always ends, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
How all our hijinks end. So yeah, that was what I thought
You
it would
should
be.
never worry about coming to us with your problems.
With my snotty nose.
We are your friends and we'll happily let you snot all over us.
Yay! Oh my gosh.
Anytime.
I wish there was a nicer word for snot. I mean, snot isn't nice, but it's one of those things that genuinely one of my biggest worries if I were to ever be a parent is having to deal with my child's nose.
Yeah.
There's just something about it that I'm just like, oh, no.
Blech.
I mean, I guess maybe it's different when it's your child, or maybe it's not. Maybe you just have to learn to live with it.
Maybe.
But I don't know. That's just always one of the things that I'm like, ooh.
Hot pass.
But there you go. That was my snot dream.
Snot dream. Yeah, no, I get it. I always have little anxiety things like that. Like, oh god, I came across really weird in that stream. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
Or like a passing comment that you make that you then just make it bigger than it is. I've genuinely had so many times when I've done a recording or done a stream and I'm waiting for it to go up and I'm just thinking all the comments are just going to be like, why did Bryony say this one thing? Why did she do that? And then you see it and no one even mentions it and it's just such a nothing thing to have happened.
Yeah.
But I've obsessed about it for weeks. Like, oh my gosh, the floods of anger that are going to come like towards me when I've said this one thing.
Even when people do mention it, to be honest, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, like, it's just a vocal minority, and they're not. You know, people are just reading the comment and thinking, "Wow, you're a bit of a bitter dick." Really?
Yes.
And then people scroll past it and that's it. You know, it's not waves and waves of hate because you killed the wrong person in a round of TTT. You know, it's just, you know, the odd guy that's like, oh, this is a suboptimal play. And, you know, someone says it, no one reads it, and then that's it. It's done. So, yeah. But I totally get it. But I'm awful for it because I always read the comments, and you and Rydian are always like, stop reading the comments. And I'm like, no.
You're so naughty.
I want to see people yelling at me.
To feed on the anger.
Feed on the hate.
I did check comments recently. I don't know what it was that made me cave, but I did sort of have a little look. And I was like, okay. There was sort of like one mean one. And I was like, okay, I can live with that. That's fine. And then I cried for 3 hours. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well.
It's fine.
Nothing will top the time that I had a bad round of TTT and someone was like, get her out of the Yogscast.
Oh my gosh. That's it. She's had her fill.
I'm out. Time to resign. Bye everyone. I have to go.
Oh my gosh, I like the fella who was like, what was it me and you had done? Well, I can't remember the video we're in, but there was the comment that was
the one about
like,
us being potted plants.
I've watched the Yogscast for 10 years through all the changes, but this is it. I'm done. Unsubscribing. And we were like, well, we were the straw that broke them. Don't know what we did, but it was a step too far. Whoops. Goodbye.
I've had enough. I'm unsubscribing forever.
Yeah.
Oh no. What did we do? Oh dear. But see, you gotta laugh about it because otherwise it does just get stressful. Because that's just the nature of being on the internet. I think
that's the thing.
You just gotta ignore the people that are angry and just be you.
In the real world where streaming doesn't exist, you like no one's gonna be 100% liked. It's just not.
Yeah.
There was probably people in the times of like Mother Teresa being like, oh, bit annoying, isn't she? You know, there's always gonna be. there's just always gonna be like no one is. I mean, it's all part of life's rich tapestry, isn't it? Like, there's different strokes for different folks, and sometimes it's just that. I guess it's sort of like if you have a cake, but it has an aniseed in it, and you eat the cake, and all of the cake is lovely, but there's just one bit that you're like, ugh. That's you, mean YouTube commenters. You're a little stinky aniseed in my nice cake. You're leaving a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh.
But yeah.
But then you just have some of the rest
like
of
coriander.
I love coriander.
Yeah.
Coriander's the best.
Whereas for me, like the tiniest bit in a big bowl of noodles, and I'm like, whoa. But that's what it's like. But you just have to appreciate the noodles.
I feel so bad for people who have the soap gene because coriander fucking slaps. It's so good.
I'm
So
glad
good.
that like more places have the option to just not put it on now. Like Chili Daddy will just have an option of like no
Oh,
coriander.
that's good.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, it's one of those things that if I could like it, I would. It'd be nice to like the taste of.
Because you have the soap
everything.
gene, don't you?
I assume so.
Sort of. Does it taste soapy in your mouth? I'm sure you said that before.
Well, for me, weirdly, olives taste of soap.
Oh.
Whereas coriander is just like, I just don't particularly like it. But I've never eaten it and thought, well, that's soapy. Maybe I'm eating the wrong soap. Maybe,
yeah.
I just have a weird soap and it's not that similar.
Maybe
Maybe I have
scented
olive soap. Yeah. Just throwing off my idea of what soap should taste like. I find it funny when people are like, why have you eaten soap to know what soap tastes like? It gets under your fingernails and you accidentally eat it.
It does, yeah.
And sometimes it looks really nice as well. And you can't help
You just have to take a little bite. Delicious.
I get really sad when I see things on like Etsy that it's like soap that's made to look like cupcakes and stuff. And I'm like, why? Why would you make things look so tasty that shouldn't be eaten?
Just make cupcakes so I can eat them.
Yeah. It's the like, why friend-shaped if not friend? Why food-shaped
Why food-shaped?
if not food?
Exactly. I want to eat the soap.
It's like food in anime. Why you make it look so good? Huh?
Yeah, true. It always looks so good. So delicious. And, oh, God, I remember watching Winnie the Pooh as a kid, and honey just looked so good. Oh, my God. But as a kid, I didn't like honey. I was like, this isn't like in Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
But now I get it. I get
tasty.
it, Winnie the Pooh. I understand.
Do you know, in
I'm
our
with you.
local shop, one of the only things that is in protective casing is the Manuka honey.
Yeah, Same.
It's like
Manuka
bottles
honey,
of whiskey
'cause it's
and Manuka
expensive.
honey. Everything else you can steal. We don't care.
Though there was a thing where they were putting butter.
Lurpak.
Yeah, Lurpak. And that's the point. I was in Aldi the other day, and oh my God, the people in front of me, they were so annoying. The man, he just kept sending his kid to go and find something on the shop floor while they were checking out.
Oh, geez, yeah.
And like, he's like, go and find this. It's at the end of this, blah, blah, blah. And the kid's like, I don't know where it is. He's like, all right. And he ran off to try and find it. He came back and went, I can't find it. And the dad's like, oh, you're bloody useless. Hang on a minute. And then he ran off. And the poor checkout guy is just sitting there just like, oh my God. And everyone is in a queue, like in an Audi queue, which is huge.
Yeah.
And they were so mad at this guy.
Oh.
And then when he came back, he was like, I can't find it either. And then the checkout guy was like, oh my God. And he stood up and he was like, I'll go get it. It's just amazing. And then eventually it was a big thing of Lurpak. And it was like £5.65. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
For the £5.65 for a tub of Lurpak? Jesus. Just a joke. No wonder they put it in a protective casing. Bloody hell.
Oh.
In Audi as well. You'd think it would be a little bit cheaper.
I had another dream that was, I can only remember a little bit of it. And it's that I was out walking, I was visiting my sister in a hospital, but I was walking along and I suddenly realised I didn't know, I hadn't asked like which hospital she was in. I was back in Hertfordshire and I was like, I don't know if she's in, I just made up hospitals in the dream. I was like, I don't know if she's in Stevenage Hospital or Hatfield Hospital, or there was like another hospital. I don't think any of these places have hospitals, but in my
Stevenage
mind.
does. You got the
Oh, does
Lister.
it? Oh, yeah, of course.
And then, well, I don't know about Hatfield, but Watford's got the QE2.
There
Not
used to
Watford,
be a
Welling.
QE2 in
Welling's got the
yeah.
QE2. Sorry, not Watford. Welling.
So
and
it was
then
like, there was all of
there's
these
probably
hospitals that I was like, I don't know which one she's at. And I was walking along this very like American road that was like, you know, very neat and very big sidewalks and very uniform and trees and stuff. And But then all of a sudden I was like in the hospital, and I think I must have already seen my sister at some point, and I knew that she was fine. But then I was talking to this guy. This guy started like flirting with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, who is this guy? Like, he's like this young guy, and he's really confident and stuff. And then I realized it was a young Tony Khan. For people who don't know, that is the owner of AEW, the wrestling promotion. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, why are you flirting with me? Like, you're like a rich young guy. What is this? I mean, in real life, he's like 40, so he is older than me. But in this, he was meant to be like 25 or something. I was like, why are you flirting with me? And he was like, oh, you don't look a day over 25 or something. And I was like, okay, Tony, no, we can talk now. We can talk if you like. Go on then. Yeah, you keep that up. You keep that up. And we just had this like weird little conversation. And that's like all I remember of the dream.
Oh my God.
Is that? I don't know. I don't know where that came from. It was just
amazing.
It's probably
hilarious.
Just that.
And he was at the hospital?
Yeah, he was just that. I think he was visiting someone and had just come out at the same time as me or something. But yeah, but in 10 days' time is when we're seeing the wrestling. So I think it's probably just that.
Yeah, you
wrestling
got
is
rested on the
my
brain.
mind.
You coming down here for that?
I will be. Well, I'll be in
Oh
Wembley.
my God, she's going to Wembley.
Going to Wembley.
Wembley.
But yeah. I don't know where that dream came from either. That one, I have absolutely no idea the meaning behind it. It's not like my Snot dream where I figured it out, like the smart little puppy I am. This one is just weird.
Yeah, I think that one's just resting on the brain, to be honest. I don't know about the hospital, though.
Yeah, and I don't know
Do you know anyone
why...
that's been to hospital lately?
I visited someone in hospital like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, there we go. That might have been it then.
So yeah, maybe.
Baby.
But
Baby.
I swear I was thinking about a hospital and I don't remember why. Oh, maybe it's because I have a friend who might be moving to Bristol and she works in a hospital, and she was saying like, would there be a place to work sort of thing. So maybe it just popped into my head that way.
Aha, there we go.
I don't know, but I don't know
Maybe
why
solved it.
Tony Khan just wasn't himself.
Without
it might just be
them. Are they moving from around here? Or
no, down in Exeter way.
Not near Wembley then.
Not near Wembley.
Where the wrestling's gonna be.
But I was wondering if it's because I've just been doing streams with like, because I guess when I've streamed before with groups, it's been like, I guess like Rithy and like Boba's around my age, and it's been sort of that. Whereas this year I seem to be, I mean, there's young'uns like you, but then there's the actual babies like Sarah and Shadow who are children.
How many years younger am I than you?
5.
Is it 5? Oh
yeah. You're a little baby.
You old. Old lady.
I'm just an old bitch.
I don't want to say it, but...
So I wonder if that's just it. It's just that I've spent time with people in their mid-20s, so my brain's just like, they exist still, you know. They didn't all grow up with you. There's still new ones coming in.
They're young people. It's weird. Fucking weird.
It is weird. I remember when I don't really, but I remember when I was sort of like early 20s and I'd get ID'd and I was like, oh my gosh, how can they not tell that I'm so super grown up in my, you know, I'm 22, I'm such an adult. And now when I see 22-year-olds, I'm like, oh no, I get it now. They're actual children. Like, they look so young. It's weird how your perspective shifts.
I got ID'd the other day.
Because you're a baby.
And, well, they were like, oh, I'm really sorry, do you have any ID? And I was like, you don't need to apologise. I was like, one time I was at the self-checkouts and they turned around as if to ask for ID, looked me square in the face and went, oh, don't worry. I was just like, oh, it's quite nice to be asked.
remember the last time I got ID'd was... Well, I think when I was trying to get into the pub for my friend's 30th birthday. This was a couple years ago, and I got ID'd, and I didn't have ID on me because I was like, why would I have ID on me? I'm so far over the limit. And then I had to message my friend and be like, sorry, I can't come in. They won't let me in.
Aww.
But then the last time it was during lockdown, and I'd just gone for my COVID jab, and they said the nurse who did it was like, oh, you should go and get some paracetamol because you can feel a bit dodgy afterwards, and it helps. So I went to go and buy paracetamol, which I think you have to be 16 to buy.
Yeah.
And I got ID'd, didn't have any ID on me, and they refused to let me buy it.
Aww.
I was like, I'm 18 years older than I need to. I can't remember how old I would have been at the time. I was like, why won't you let me buy this? It's paracetamol. It's one packet of paracetamol for my jab.
Please.
But, goodness. I'd rather that than be haggard, I guess. I just couldn't think of the word.
16-year-olds running around with paracetamol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm suffering from my youthful looks. Oh.
Should we have a listen to my dream?
Yeah.
Should we have a little peep? I can't remember exactly, but I have a feeling it will all come back. Actually, no, I do. I think I do remember what this was actually.
Pure filth.
Pure filth.
Excellent.
Naturally. All right, let's have a little listening.
Hello. I don't remember much of this dream, so sorry in advance if it's a bit all over the place. But, I dreamt that I was in a football team. I joined a football team for some reason, and I was in, their base, their headquarters, and there was a big whiteboard on the wall that said when our next game would be. And it turned out, I think it was either later that night or the next day in the evening. And then they laid out a bunch of food. It had chicken and gravy and stuff. And people were getting plates of food, and I loaded up a plate. And then it was time to leave. So I'm walking down the street with a bunch of the people from this football thing, and then I see them holding their food, and I think, oh shit, I put the food down and I just left without it. I completely forgot. So I start heading back to go and get the food, and I end up walking past it. Well, I nip in there to double check the time on the whiteboard, because at that point I've forgotten when the game is going to be. Then I carry on and I end up in a house. And it's got lots and lots of rooms, and a lady who's not very nice in there. She just seemed like a bit of an angry matriarch kind of person, but I don't know who she was. And I'm trying to go around the house looking for something, but I don't know what. And at one point, Tabs was in the way, and I had to move him, and I'm like, geez, Tabs, move, please. And then I head back to whoever I was with, I don't know what I went to this house for, but I assume I picked it up. And then I got back to them, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot my food again. And it was just a constant cycle of going to get something, forgetting it, grabbing something else, going somewhere else, forgetting something, coming back, being like, oh, I forgot it. So classic ADHD. And then later on, I dreamt that I was in a building with a bunch of people, and I was looking at the sky. I was looking at the sky at UFOs. There was a UFO chasing an airplane, or 3 UFOs circling an airplane, and I was watching them. But then something flew across my vision, it looked like a big car with like a colourful trail coming off of it, but it was kind of a weird looking space car. And that flew across to the right of my vision. And then suddenly the night sky lit up. And I turned around to everyone, I was like, what the hell was that? And there was just a huge like brrr in the background. We were like, oh my god. And then we were bracing ourselves and suddenly like a wall of wind hit. And we were like, we need to get out. And then we were in some sort of vehicle. And as we were driving, I was looking out the window, and all of the buildings were leaning in this wind. All of the tall buildings couldn't stand up straight, and a lot of them fell over. But all of the short buildings, including the one that we were in before, stayed up because they were short and they could handle it. Yeah, that's kind of all I remember. It was a weird one, but there we go. Goodbye.
There we go. There we go.
There was a lot going on.
There was a lot going on there, yeah. It was very sort of fragmented, but those are the two main bits I remembered.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first bit was just a really frustrating, just ADHD bloody nightmare. That's all that was. Just constantly going backwards and forwards. Like the minute I walked out of the building, I was like, I forgot the time that was on the whiteboard, and I forgot my food. I have to go back. And then I had to go back, and then I ended up walking past it, and then going somewhere else and looking for something else, and then I came back and I'd forgotten what was in the football place, and oh my god, it was a bloody nightmare. And I just ended up getting annoyed at myself.
It's so frustrating when you get that sort of stuff in dreams, and you're like, why are we reliving these feelings?
Yes,
why are we doing
this? Happens every day. I don't need to dream about it.
It's like one of the like, obviously I'm very grateful that Alex and I were able to get a house together in Bristol. But one of the worst things about moving from our flat to the house was if I forgot something upstairs, I'd have to be like, oh my gosh, I have to go all the way. Whereas before, we just had this like tiny little flat. And if you forgot it, you'd forgotten it in a room next to the room you were in. It was fine. There's no stairs involved.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
But
yeah,
I looked up
find
wind. But there's also, it says also see gale and hurricane. Would you say it was closer to one of those?
It wasn't a hurricane. I would stick with wind. It was kind of like, it was like a blast. It was almost like a bomb had hit.
Oh.
And, like, because the car thing came across my vision and it landed to the right, and that's when it was like a big and then the wind hit.
Oh, I see.
So it was like a bomb blast, but without the actual explosion.
Yeah.
It was just the wind pushing everything.
Well, this says, in dreams, the wind symbolizes intellect.
No.
It will depend on the force of the wind and how we interpret the dream. For instance, a breeze would suggest gentleness and pleasure. An idea or concept we have is beginning to move us. A gale might indicate a principle we feel passionate about, whereas a north wind might suggest a threat to our security. So
North wind?
Yeah. Did you pay attention to which direction the wind came
No, I
from?
didn't.
Oh.
I didn't.
Get
it came
back in
from
the dream.
my right.
It says, on a slightly more psychological level, wind in a dream can suggest the beginning of a new, much deeper awareness of ourselves.
Oh.
There you go.
Interesting.
It's your wind.
My wind.
She wimdy.
Reckon Wimdy. Yeah, I have a feeling I know what a lot of these are about, in a sense. I mean, not so much the wind, but the first bit of the dream, I don't know about the football team, but the whole ADHD forgetting stuff, that is literally because that is how I am in real life. And I have been feeling it a lot more lately. Like, I've been feeling very overwhelmed, and I sort of spend a lot of days thinking, only 4 months until I get my meds.
Oh.
Because sometimes it can just be really difficult to exist, and I think that the frustrating aspect of that is coming through in the dream.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes it's just so much. Like, it's hard to explain to people, because I think people that don't experience ADHD, especially like I'm inattentive type, and the thing with that is a lot of things that are easy for people to do are not easy. Like, I constantly have to fight against executive dysfunction. I have to will myself to get the simplest things done.
Yeah.
And people on the outside think, oh, you're just being lazy. And I'm not being lazy. There's literally like a mental barrier there that is stopping me from just doing any of this stuff. And by extension, like, I forget things all the time. Like, I haven't left my desk, really, because I've been working. But I've managed to lose my glasses. I was wearing them and I put them down and they're not here anymore. I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
They're not in their usual place. They're not in the bathroom and they're not by my bed. Not a clue where they are. I'll probably find them in the fridge or something. I don't know. But I'll find them at some point. Like, that's just how every day goes. And yeah, sometimes it can be quite overwhelming. And lately, in particular, I have been feeling very overwhelmed by it. And I think that is coming through in the dream.
I saw this meme yesterday that was like, you know, the hands in holding each other's wrists sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it was like one of them was labeled like ADHD and something else. And the other one was like bi/pan. And the other one was like non-binary. And it was like things we have in common. Doesn't everyone feel this way?
Yeah, literally. What do you mean this isn't normal?
Yeah, sometimes it just feels like when I see, it's like with anxiety, and I'm just like, everyone just has moments where you're fine, and then all of a sudden you're just having
not fine.
You've just disassociated, right? That's just normal, right?
Yeah.
And then when you look at people and you're like, you just function. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, literally. Like, you look at people just like, how do you function?
What's wrong with you? How do you just? Why aren't you just randomly panicking for no reason?
Exactly. Oh my god.
It is it's weird. Exactly. Like the sort of people who, I don't believe these people exist, but people who they go to leave the house, they take everything they need, they lock the door, and then they walk away. What's
and they
that
don't
about?
think, did I close the door on my way out?
Yeah, you don't have to go and almost miss your bus because you're checking every window the third time, even though you know you didn't open them, and the oven hasn't magically sprung into flame in the seconds you've been out.
Did I leave the stove on even though I haven't cooked today?
Yeah.
What if I leant against it? Oh god.
I'll be like, I know I just had a slice of toast, but what if I did cook it on the hob today? What if that? What if just why not? What if I did?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, I have been feeling it a lot more. I don't know. I think sometimes it's nice when I get time to have a nice trip to Bristol, because I feel a little bit more normal in myself.
Yeah.
I think I was thinking about this the other day, like, people that are diagnosed as adults with ADHD, I think it tends to come to light because as you grow up and you live on your own and stuff, you don't have that structure you had when you were a kid. So like when you were at school, you had that pressure to get work done. And yeah, not everyone with ADHD is like that. But I was always terrified of getting in trouble, terrified of not doing my homework. So I made sure I did it.
Yeah.
Because I would burst into tears if the teacher even glanced at me. And I think that growing up, and now that I work from home as well and I work for myself, I have to really make that effort to put those boundaries up for myself, because there's no structure really. So the ADHD just grows out of control.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was working, the structure was there because I had to be there for 8:30 in the morning, and I had to do this, and I had a big tick sheet that I had to tick off every day, like, and you know, even though I didn't enjoy working there, there was structure and I could stick to it.
Yeah.
Whereas now, but the problem was when I got home, I would just be so overwhelmed that I would just go to sleep.
Yeah.
I would just go to sleep the whole time. So yeah, it was still a struggle. But yeah, now I think now I'm at home a lot, I am getting more overwhelmed by it. So going to Bristol and seeing everyone and having special times that I have to stream with you guys, it helps a lot. So I think, yeah, I don't know. Now that I'm home from Bristol, I'm experiencing it again, so that it's coming out in the dreams, I think.
I think it is.
I'm making this a bit too real. I'm sorry, everyone.
I think, in a weird way, like, I sort of get what you mean, because, like, for me, a lot of my frustrations come from routine, even though the routine is probably what, like, I do the routines because the routines make me comforted, but then the routines are what drives me mad. I don't know if this makes sense. It's like when I am getting ready for bed, I have this real thing of, like, I have to, like, check the door is locked a certain number of times, and then I have to touch the fridge, and I have to do this and then do this. And if anything trips me up in that time, I try so hard not to go back to the beginning. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I'll get to bed quicker if I just give in now and just do it all again, sort of thing.
No.
But even though, like, obviously that routine is, like, my routine, sometimes just doing something, being in a completely different place is so refreshing, because you're like, there's no routines here. What, like, this is freeing. I don't have a thing where I have to touch this and then do this and do this many times. And it is quite nice. So I guess in the same way that you find if you go to Bristol and you're just in a different place.
Yeah, I'm in a different place. Like... I'm the opposite, because in Bristol, I have more of a routine. So I'm just like, yay, structure!
So what needs to happen is that you have to come here. I'll teach you my routine. You do it for me.
Perfect.
I'll have the peace of mind and not have to drive myself mad. Yay!
Woohoo!
Dear oh dear.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But no, I don't know what the second half of the dream was really.
I did look up buildings to see if that would... but there's, like, so many different things. There's, like, specific walls, specific buildings, if it's halls and passages, if it's a warehouse. There's, like... But I was hoping it would just be, tall and short.
Yeah, they were just, like, blocks of flats, like the tall ones.
Yeah. It says, It says boarding house or hotel. That's not really it. I mean, buildings in general. Buildings in dreams represent the constructions we make in our lives. They are attitudes and beliefs we have built from our experience, perception, and often from our family habits and customs. Where in real life we can learn a lot about a person from his personal environment. So in dreams, a building can also reflect the dreamer's character, hopes, and concerns. But what does it mean if they're tall and flapping about? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
What if
they were tall and they were falling over?
I mean, I guess, like, attitudes and beliefs. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something as simple as there's something about you or something you believe or a part of life that you feel is being shaken, whereas there's other parts that are sturdy and have deeper foundations. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Is it this point where we just blame chat and streaming and...
Yeah, probably.
The tall ones are chatting, they're just flapping about, and...
The wind is chat, and the buildings are my patience.
Perfect.
We
solved it again.
Nice. But I must say, I know Rythian listens to the podcast, and special shout out to Rythian, because talking about executive dysfunction and stuff, when we raid in Final Fantasy on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we have a special spreadsheet that we use to keep track of all of the gear we have. So we know like what gear we need to get next from the raid so that we're best in slot. And I forgot that this existed.
She forgot.
Or I forgot. And like this week or last week, I think it was last week, Alice, our raid leader, was like, has everybody updated the spreadsheet? And I was like, what? Spreadsheet? There's a spreadsheet? And I just completely forgot that it existed. And Rydian was like, oh, I've been doing it for Kirsty. And I was like, oh. And then this week, he was standing next to me in Final Fantasy just looking at my character. And I was like, what is he looking at? And then he just said, I've updated Kirsty's sheet. And honestly, like I feel like we joke about it and it's just me being lazy, but genuinely that is so helpful to me because that is something that I cannot do.
Yeah.
And I really, really appreciate it. So big shout out to Rydian for being lovely.
I think I've been thinking about this sort of stuff recently, with like, you know how in films and stuff, or just general ideas of, I'll use the word that's not particularly relevant here because obviously it's like friendship, but like ideas of romance are like grand gestures and like flash mobs who have all learned how to do the same dance and blah 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 blah. But I was thinking recently there were two things that happened in like 2 days after each other. The first was that Alex had popped to the shops and for something else, and when he got back he had bought me crumpets because he knows I love crumpets.
Aww.
And the second one was that I got off the bus and he had brought me my coat because it had started to rain. And I was like, that is
so
pure
cute.
romance and pure friendship and just doing that stuff that is such a tiny little gesture. But you've thought about the person and you've taken care of them. And like really in doing that for you, it's like that. Obviously, it's like, obviously you're not married to Rydian, but it's that sort of thing that is like, that's a true show of love, whether it be romantic or platonic. It's just that sort of stuff. I love it so much.
Me too.
When it's like you just do something for someone because it's not a big show. It's just what you know they need. I love it. It's cute.
It is. It's so lovely.
Yeah. Aww. What a good little guy.
What a good guy. I'll marry Rydian. I'll marry him right now.
Okay. I'll officiate.
Let's do it.
I'll learn how to
Perfect.
do it. Maybe, I mean, you could... Then he could stay in the country as well. It sort of works out.
Nice.
I'm behind
I
this.
I don't know if he'd like that.
By the time this goes out, you'll be married. He won't have to know.
Oh, we're going to do it without him being here. Okay, nice.
There must be some sort of like, I don't know, AI voice generation Rydian that you could have, you know, several witnesses.
We can
that
record
listen.
it and be like, oh, this happened, Rydian. Don't you remember?
The beginning of every successful marriage, gaslighting. Oh dear.
Oh my gosh.
But no,
Oh dear.
I'd like that.
And
And
us
then-
getting married or
yeah,
Rydian
and
being
then you
here?
could- well, both. Then you could both move to Bristol, and
Aw, cute.
I could arrange the wedding. I love arranging weddings.
Perfect. It's settled. Rydian,
Aww. Oh my gosh,
getting married.
the invitations could be like little game cubes, and you lift the thing up, and it says underneath like surprise.
It would be like a 10-year-old's birthday party.
Yay! There'd be something in there for Rydian as well. I don't know, just Final Fantasy, blah 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 blah. We'll figure it out. Oh,
Final Fantasy, blah, blah, blah.
whatever he's into, I don't know. There's a surprise ending to the podcast.
Yeah, surprise wedding.
Yeah. It's like a
Perfect.
Jane Austen book. There's always a wedding at the end of those.
With Game Cubes and Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well,
there we go. We did it.
this is episode
Nice.
60.
Is it?
Can you believe it?
Wow.
I think.
A marriage episode.
Yeah, we needed something, big, clickbaity
Yeah.
to.
We're getting married.
You'll never believe what happens. Listen to the end. Oh.
Oh dear.
Well, thank you for a lovely dream.
Thank
a lovely
you.
dream. A lovely chat.
Thank you for a lovely dream.
Are
Speaking
we
to
asleep
you
right
was
now?
a dream.
Yeah.
I was before we started recording. Maybe I still am.
I was wondering if you were going to bring like a freshly baked dream straight from the brain oven when you said you were
No.
having a nap. I was like, ooh.
I don't think I dreamt anything. It's too late now.
You're dreaming right now.
It's alright. I'll have another nap.
Don't know why I
Maybe
said that
something will happen.
like a ghost.
You're dreaming right now, spooky.
Oh.
Well, thank you, Bryony.
Thank you,
Thank you
Kirsty.
so much.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. And
Yes.
until do we have a question?
Oh,
Have you ever snotted on someone in a dream? What's your favorite bodily fluid to dream? No.
No. No.
Cut the podcast. Cut the.
Stop, cut it. End. It's over.
Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you, everyone.
Until next time. Bye bye for now.
Bye bye for now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.